Hello. So, I titled this video Meditate with Me, and I want to start by saying that I am not a meditation teacher. I'm not a meditation expert. I'm just a student seeking ways to be a better person. Um, there's a lot of wonderful resources out there that you can learn from. This is really me sharing what I've learned and what works for me. So there's many types of meditation. You can Google them and you can come up with a lot of them and a lot of really expert videos and really well thought out methods. I'm focusing on just one. It's called mindfulness meditation. Now, mindfulness is a wonderful buzzword today, and it's being practiced in schools, it's being practiced everywhere. I've been practicing it for a little over 5 years now. And how is it different than other types of meditation? Well, without getting into the other types, for me, when I was looking at ways to meditate and to be healthier and happier and calmer and more productive and more loving and caring and less angry and all of the other negative emotions, I went to a monastery. I won't say where because they really are wonderful, but they didn't work for me. And the kind of meditation they practiced was the kind that I kind of heard, which was sitting silently, not moving at all, facing a wall, facing away from everyone else, stressing silence and non-movement. And then the focus was on not thinking about anything. And I have the monkey mind, the mind that likes to jump around and throw the poo. But kidding aside, it didn't work for me. I couldn't think of nothing. I kept thinking of many things, and I felt very frustrated. So that didn't work, and I felt discouraged. But then I came across the mindfulness meditation, and how it's different is it's about being in the present moment. It's about the noises. It's about the distractions. The practice of meditation really is about trying to find a place that's calm and having discipline to sit and face your thinking and your thoughts and allow them to flow by and not get caught up in them and be right here like I am with you and you are with me. So letting your thoughts drift by, you can focus on your breath, on breathing in and breathing out, or a spot right in front of you, which I'm really big on doing. That works for me. And as your thoughts bounce around, you bring yourself back to this moment. I'll share quickly with you before we get into doing a little bit of meditation. I hope to make this video brief. That I took a class, I've taken several through the Shambhala Center in Burlington, and this one in particular was around 1 year to live. It was studying your own mortality, and as part of that, we subdivided into groups and met at our group's various homes. And one of the homes that I met at had a very loud parakeet. And when we would get together and before we'd start discussing the subject matter, we would meditate, and the parakeet would really loudly, spontaneously, sporadically. It would kind of make you jump. And at first, I had some irritation rise up in me. But then I became really grateful for that because I realized I was getting caught up in my thoughts, as we all do. And that noise brought me right here in this present moment, and it was a great practice to be here and not be out in outer space thinking about all the things I need to do and drifting and ignoring the moment and ignoring the person I'm trying to listen to. So I touched a little bit on why meditate, at least why I meditate before, but I thought I'd speak a little bit more about that. Pema Chodron, who is one of my favorite people, authors, meditators, teachers, said we don't sit in meditation to become good meditators. We sit in meditation so that we'll become more awake in our lives. And I really love that quote because when I can be mindful, which isn't just about meditating, it's also about being very present and not caught up in your head. And when you get caught up in your head, being present for your loved ones, for the simple things you're doing, being more awake in our lives has been very helpful for me as a teacher when I teach a class that I teach. Um, so it also has health benefits that, again, are part of the certain buzzwords today around mindfulness, in decreasing blood pressure, in decreasing anxiety and stress and worry, and increasing a sense of well-being and a sense of gratitude, which is so important. And I feel that often I don't have enough gratitude. And not putting yourself down, like, I don't feel like I have enough gratitude. I have a lot of gratitude. I could have more gratitude. So I meditate so that I can have a healthier, better relationship with my husband and my parents and my sister and my friends and my coworkers and all the people that I interact with, whether they are known to me or they're strangers. And I mess up often, but I meditate to try to become better at just being and worrying less. And so that's it. Want to try not to fall asleep, because that isn't being in the present moment. That isn't being awake and aware. So sometimes I sit here with my back to the fireplace so I can look at our home and look out our windows. Sometimes I turn around and face the fireplace. It's just one place. Sometimes I sit in front of our patio window. And sometimes when it's warm and dry out, I sit out on the edge of our patio, and when it's spring and summer and even fall, I sit and look at Austin's flowers and watch the butterflies and the birds. It's really nice. Instruction involves sitting in a place that has few distractions and in a quiet space, and sitting on a floor, sitting on a cushion. They have special meditation cushions that can be very helpful. And sitting isn't the only option, but I'll mention that. I'll talk more about that in a second. What I've been learning recently, I've been on vacation, which I could do a whole video about how to take care of yourself and regenerate and serve yourself best to help serve others. So in meditating, I've had a problem with my knees and with my sitting, and I realized when I was just practicing how to sit this week, I realized how poorly I'd been sitting. So maybe you can't see my feet, and I don't want to adjust my camera, but instead of sitting cross-legged, instead of sitting cross-legged on my feet, I'm actually found that sitting with my legs spaced out has been better. Let me try to tilt the camera down. Can you see how my feet are sort of spaced out? Well, that works for me, so I'll start by saying that. So finding a comfortable space is really important. But you don't need to just sit on the floor. Many of us can't sit on the floor. I can't sit on the floor for a long period of time or sit cross-legged. So you can meditate sitting in a comfortable chair. You can meditate in bed, although it's kind of discouraged, and I understand why, because it's easy to fall asleep. And what you don't want to have happen, although it can happen, is you can fall asleep. It's ideal to have less distraction, but sometimes you can't avoid distraction, and sometimes distraction is a welcomed opportunity, just like my story with the parakeet at the Shambhala Center where I meditate with the group. They leave the windows open in the summer and allow all the street noise to come up, and you hear everything. You hear the cars, you hear cursing, you hear everything, and that becomes part of the experience of being in the moment and feeling your body relax. So let's get started. We'll kind of do like a warm-up, and I'll walk you through a few moments of meditating, and then we'll have some silence and meditate together. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Let's do it again. In through your nose, out through your mouth. One more time. In through your nose, out through your mouth, releasing tension. Notice any pent-up tension, any muscles in your neck and your shoulders. Imagine them just opening up and releasing that tension, relaxing. Release tension in your stomach, in your butt, in your legs, wherever you might be holding it. Just in one more time, and out. And now, pick a spot in front of you. If you're watching this, it could be down on my sweatshirt. It could be down on the floor in front of you, wherever you're watching this. And just sit. And I'm going to ask you, what do you hear around you? I'm going to practice this in silence in just a moment. You can focus on your breath going in and your breath going out. That's a great way to be present. You can tell yourself, I'm right here, I'm awake. And as your thoughts come in, gently let them go back out. Be right here in the present moment. Okay, let's just sit together in silence for a few moments and actually meditate. Okay. Let's come back out of that. Normally it would be much longer, or it could be short. And oftentimes there'd be a gentle gong to kind of alert you to come back up out of that space. So I'm going to ask you how that was for you. It could have been terribly uncomfortable or boring. Maybe you fast forwarded and stopped watching, and that's okay. But I'll say to ask yourself how it felt. And what did you hear? What did you notice in your body? Was it discomfort? Was it comfort? Was it a moment of actually pausing, coming down? And think about how you feel at this moment. So my last word of advice is, don't be discouraged. If this is something you'd like to try or incorporate somehow or practice, do some research, watch some videos, read some books, take a class from professionals who can really instruct you. I just wanted to share what I've gotten out of it and how I do that. It can be started with a minute a day, 5 minutes a day. I like to think that if I can Netflix binge watch Jessica Jones, I can take 5 minutes a day to take care of myself and pause, even if it's just before I climb into bed. I brush my teeth. I have to make time for that most days. So in any event, being mindful is also not just about meditating. You can also be mindful, be in the moment when you're standing at the grocery line or when you're sitting in traffic, times when you might feel frustrated or anxious or impatient, can turn into wonderful opportunities to look forward to actually practice mindfulness and actually get in touch with what's going on in your head and kind of do some maintenance. And sometimes that can feel intimidating and overwhelming, and there might be things we don't want to face. But I've had times in my life that have been very challenging, and which I've mentioned, I think, in this video. And mindfulness meditation has been something that has allowed me to navigate through those times in a better fashion, maybe with a little more grace, maybe with a little more kindness to myself and to others. And I'm so imperfect, and I can be very unkind and very not those things, but that's not who I want to be, and that's why I practice this. So the last thing I'm going to say to you is Namaste. And that means the spirit within me salutes the spirit within you. Thank you.